Hey everyone, have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered about those strange glowing shapes people have been reporting for literally centuries? Today, we're exploring the enduring mystery of unexplained luminous aerial phenomena and breaking down some truly fascinating new research that might finally give us a natural, scientific answer. Okay, let's dive into this. Picture a glowing, cigar-shaped anomaly just hovering up there. It's the kind of thing that has completely baffled observers, pilots, and scientists for generations. I mean, it looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But what if it's actually entirely natural? Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. The luminous UAP mystery, 2. The current misunderstanding, 3. The atmospheric plasma hypothesis, 4. Validating the theory, 5. Falsification, and 6. Real-world implications. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. The Luminous UAP Mystery, a history of glowing shapes.
You know, this isn't just some modern internet trend. Across centuries, people all over the globe have reported seeing the exact same elongated, glowing shapes in the sky. They just described them using the language of their own time. Ancient observers called them fiery rods or sky serpents. Fast forward to the 1800s, and suddenly they're phantom airships. Today, well, we call them cigar-shaped UAPs or Tic Tacs. The names change, sure, but that mysterious glowing shape stays exactly the same.
Section 2. The current misunderstanding. Basically, the flaw in our investigations.
So, the crucial point is, we really tend to force our explanations into one of two completely opposite boxes. In the first box, we try to explain everything away as a super boring, everyday object. You know, a weather balloon, a drone, maybe a meteor. But if it doesn't fit neatly in there, bam, we immediately jump straight to the second box and assume it just has to be an extraordinary craft, like an alien spaceship. Because of this totally false choice, we're completely missing a third option: really rare, highly complex natural events happening right in our atmosphere.
Section 3. The atmospheric plasma hypothesis. It's time to introduce our scientific suspect.
This fascinating hypothesis comes from researcher, inventor, and author Kevin L. Brown. He proposes that a specific chunk of these sightings are actually caused by what he calls field-stabilized atmospheric plasma. Now, let's keep the science simple here. This basically means that some of these glowing UAPs, they aren't solid spaceships at all. It's just nature showing off under extreme stress. It's a totally natural event where electromagnetic energy and pressure build up in the sky until they temporarily form an organized glowing shape.
Kevin L. Brown actually refers to this buildup as structural pressure. Think of it exactly like stretching a giant rubber band. Imagine our atmosphere as that rubber band. Different natural forces pull it, stretch it, and build up massive amounts of environmental stress. And well, when it stretches too far, it has to release all that pent-up energy. But sometimes, instead of a sudden lightning bolt, that release happens as a glowing, cigar-like shape just hovering up there in the sky.
Now, what's really interesting about this is figuring out what actually stretches that giant atmospheric rubber band. It isn't random. It's a combination of specific, measurable forces. We're talking about massive energy from thunderstorms, sudden shifts in the Earth's magnetic field, or even just the amount of humidity and dust in the air. It also includes stress coming from deep underground, like earthquakes or volcanoes, and even the charged trails left behind by meteors. When these specific ingredients mix perfectly together, the structural pressure hits a breaking point, and boom, a glowing UAP sparks into existence. Section 4. Validating the theory. How exactly do we test this in the real world?
Let's move to how this builds into real science. Kevin L. Brown proposes a rigorous step-by-step test mechanism. Step 1, we use sensors to constantly track environmental stress, like storms and magnetic shifts in the atmosphere. Step 2, we look for glowing UAP reports actively clustering right in those highly stressed boundary areas. And step 3, instead of just taking blurry photos with our phones, we actually measure these events using proper scientific tools. We use magnetometers to check the magnetic fields and spectrometers to see exactly what gases are glowing. We literally treat it like a complex weather event.
Section 5. Falsification. Proving it wrong.
You know, the absolute hallmark of any good science is falsification. That means a true scientific theory must boldly state exactly how it can be proven wrong. So, how do we prove this glowing plasma theory false? If you're a scientist trying to poke holes in this idea, what exactly would you look for?
Well, here are the strict rules the research lays out. The hypothesis is proven false if we see the atmospheric rubber band stretch to the absolute max, but no glowing shapes ever show up. It's also false if we find out the event was actually just a conventional object, like a lost weather balloon or some kid's drone. Plus, if spectral data shows the light is just sunlight bouncing off the shiny object rather than actual glowing gas emitting its own light, the theory is wrong. And finally, if clear, undeniable video proves the object is a hard-surfaced, mechanical craft with literal nuts and bolts, then this plasma theory completely fails for that specific case. It's wonderfully transparent, and more importantly, it's totally testable.
Section 6. Real-world implications. Why this changes everything.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world impact here. If validated, this research absolutely changes our everyday lives. Think about it. These glowing anomalies will become predictable, natural events, just like tornadoes or the northern lights. This could lead to massive improvements in aviation safety, letting us automatically warn pilots about invisible areas of intense glowing atmospheric stress. Even more incredibly, tracking these glowing shapes could become a brand new tool to help us predict dangerous geomagnetic storms, or even earthquakes, since that underground seismic stress actually helps create them. And finally, it puts an end to the terrible confusion of throwing every single UAP into one giant messy category.
I really want to share this powerful quote from Kevin L. Brown. He says, UAP reports may function as anomaly markers for undiscovered or poorly understood natural field behavior. What he's saying here is that these unsolved reports aren't just crazy stories. They aren't just noise to be ignored. They are actually really valuable signposts. They are pointing us directly toward entirely new physics in our atmosphere that we simply haven't discovered yet.
Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. If the sky has been speaking to us for centuries in a language of glowing plasma, what other natural mysteries are we totally failing to translate? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible explainer. The next time you look up at the night sky, I really hope you see it not just with wonder, but with a renewed scientific curiosity. Catch you next time.